You're contagious. Touch me, baby. Drive me wild. And a man said, this is crazy work. Crazy work. Crazy freaking work. You understand me? This is crazy work right now. I mean, it's getting kind of borderline ridiculous the way all this is taking place. But it is what it is. You know, we shall see. Selmo Fizzud is in the freaking building. You understand me? My guy. Our guy. Selmo freaking Fizzud. All I know, my dog, shit is weird. People are losing their minds. The Browns can't be trusted. Mike in Jamaica, man. What's up in Jamaica? I ain't been there in a minute. I ain't been to Jamaica in a minute. You know what I'm saying? I need to get back. Had a lot of fun in that place. Been there a few times, but Jamaica is that spot though. I mean, comparative to what has really been going on, it's been kind of nuts. I really don't even know where to begin and where to end with all this mess. Even though I've been running around this morning, got back about 30 minutes ago. And I need to come and stay. Property going up. Yeah, everything going up right now. That's the problem. And I don't think I want to leave the US right now. The world is weird. No matter where you go, if you're a US citizen, people don't like you right now. So, you know, I think I want to stay in the comfort of my own home where my guns at. As you never know when it might pop off. And I want to be right here when it pop off. It's great seeing folks that look like me. Yes, I love that. I love that. I have been to Jamaica a few times. One of my favorite places to visit. You know, even after we get off of the resort and go into the city and go into other places, that's what I like about coming. You know, it's just not about staying at the resorts and hanging out there. Every time I show up, they tell me that's the safest place to be. But you know me, I'm not safe. So I always seem to venture out and meet people and do other things, you know, engulf myself in the culture and in the city. Because, hell, the resort experience is good, but the experiencing the culture and the people that actually live there and are a part of that environment on a daily, that's what I like to do. I even go out to a few local clubs when I was down there just to hang out, you know, Ain't no big deal. You just know why not to get caught up. You just can't be out there being foolish. It's always a fool in every group, in every area. You just got to know to stay away from those type of people. Big Snacks, the dog pound history is all people talk about. When we get Shedeur Sanders about to make history with the Cleveland Browns, that's what needs to be talked about. We going all the way. Look, man, they over there playing with Shedeur like it's all right. Kevin Stefanski is petrified that Shedeur will actually have to get in the game. Because he's seen it. He actually knows how good he is. Exactly. No, that's all good. No resorts, rent a house in a gated community on the water. Yeah, I thought about that. And people don't know how big the houses are in Jamaica, especially on the coastline. There's some real nice digs they got over there. I like it. I like it. I mean, hey, you can't beat it. I went to Lagos, 2018. And my boy tell me, hey, you ain't been here in a while. A whole lot of things have changed. You know, you need to come back. The city was vibrant. It was thriving. It's people over there with lots of money. You know, and they hang out different over there. They vibe different over there. They party different over there. You know, and I loved it. I need to come back and hang out with y'all. You know, my peoples. I like being around my people. People don't know, depending on the country you go to in Africa, you get a different experience everywhere you go. You know, so people don't know they got a country in Africa, I forget the name of it, where it snows all the time. And you can actually go skiing in Africa, which is crazy. But it's true because it's so high. The city, the town is so high that it snows there and you can just do your thug thizzle. I'll tell you what I saw a lot of when I was in Lagos. When I was in Lagos, I saw a shit ton of G-Wagons. Everywhere I looked, it was a G-Wagon. I mean, G-Wagon here, G-Wagon there. We talking $130,000, $140,000 vehicles. And they just on the street like Toyotas. They out there like, yeah, you know, we got paper around here. But yeah, I miss Jamaica. I miss being in Africa. Been there a few times. Loved it every time I went. So it's a beautiful place. If you ever get the chance to experience it anywhere on that coast, have fun, enjoy it, but also just don't do the resort stuff. Go into the city, go be a part of the culture, eat the food, drink the wine, talk to the people, go shopping at the local places, you know, those type of things. But y'all know why we here. We here because they out in them streets acting crazy. They got my boy all hemmed up. We trying to figure out what the Browns doing. Kevin Stefanski had a press conference today. I don't think he know what he doing. But I know he don't want to name Shedeur QB number 2. But I think he's thinking about it. He's mulling it over. Because if he doesn't name QB number Shedeur QB2, the people and the fans are going to have his neck. But let's get this party started. Y'all know how we get down. We got to give a shout out to you, the viewer, for taking the time out to watch this video. But while you're here, do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and do not forget to turn your post notification bell on. That little bell down there in the corner, hit that. And we got a lot of new members joining the community. So see that join button down there. You can click on that, join the members section. And we got a lot of stuff coming up. Once again, back in the member section. So exclusive videos, members only live streams, things of that nature. We getting back into the gist of doing YouTube like we used to do YouTube. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we cannot start a video without giving a shout out to the beautiful ladies of the CU Aunties, because that's our ladies. So if you see some of the CU Aunties today in the chat, or you see them in the comment section of any other video, make sure you be respectful. Make sure you speak and say what's up, because if not, we'll have to holler at you. Don't let us catch you in these internet streets being disrespectful to the aunties, because we will have to handle our business. But the Cleveland Browns traded Joe Flacco. The Cleveland Browns have been a mess since Shedeur Sanders has been drafted. They don't know what they're doing. But we're going to walk through it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where we stand on today. Y'all ready? Let's go. Welcome to the lunch table. Yeah, we back. Something we haven't done in a long time. Welcome to the stream. And if you don't know how we get down, make sure you speak when you walk in other people's house. Let us know where you chilling at, where you watching from. Because unlike all other streams that are very well structured, this one today probably won't be, because I didn't get back in time to put it together like I wanted to put it together. But as we know, Shedeur Sanders started out as QB4 in Cleveland. Skip that. Hold on. Pack this thing up, selector. Rewind. See that Jamaica stuff. See how you got me, Maya? Got me acting up. Demetrius from Mobile, Alabama, from my hood. Well, Mobile is not my hood. That's my state, though. You figure me? You know them, my peoples. That's how we get down. But let's back this thing up. Because coming into this, the Cleveland Browns traded for Kenny Pickett from the Philadelphia Eagles. That was their first quarterback on the roster. The Cleveland Browns hired Joe Flacco as their second quarterback. The Cleveland Browns drafted Dillon Gabriel in the third round, making him the third quarterback and the only quarterback to be drafted by the Cleveland Browns, with the intentions of Joe Flacco starting the season, Kenny Pickett picking it up after Joe Flacco falls off, while training Dillon Gabriel up in the ways of being a number one quarterback, a starting NFL quarterback. But the Cleveland Browns threw a monkey wrench in their own system when they drafted Shedeur Sanders as a 5th round draft pick behind Dylan Gabriel. And the NFL world lost their mind. You already have 3 quarterbacks. Now you got 4. Why in the world would you do that? But Kevin Stefanski came out and said, hey, this is going to be an open quarterback competition. We're trying to see what we got. We're trying to see who's going to be our starting quarterback to start off the season. Now, there, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Tyler Huntley. All 5 of them were on the roster at the same time. And of course, as we know, Kenny Pickett got hurt second day of training camp, never to be seen or heard from again, except for the fact that he was still taking first team reps from Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Kenny Pickett, at the onset of the season, was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, which put Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco at QB1, QB2, and Shedeur Sanders as QB3, as Tyler Huntley was asked to sign on to the practice team, but he went back to the Baltimore Ravens to be on their practice team. We're trying to see where these lies started to. The lies begin from day one with Shedeur Sanders is not ready. Shedeur Sanders needs to learn how to be a pro. Dylan Gabriel, the Browns like him because he's played in so many college games. He processes information so quickly. And they also drafted him ahead of Shedeur Sanders, which in football life, that gives you the edge on the player that you were drafted in front of. Now, Lil Dylan has since gone on to become QB1 because, as I've been telling you from the beginning, Joe Flacco should only play 3 games. He got away with 4. Joe Flacco played 4 games. My reasoning for Joe Flacco to only play 3 games if you weren't around in those times was that Joe Flacco needed only to play the first 3 games because that would give Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel a learning curve. Not a learning curve in how the game of football is played, but how the game of football is done in the NFL, as in practice, as in training, as in body prep, as in treatment, as in food, as in travel, as in all the things that are needed off the field to prepare for your week of starting in the NFL. Those things are needed and have to be taken very, very seriously. Being that coming from college, it's easier to have your week laid out for you because a lot of people are doing a lot of things for you. In the NFL, you have to get your own things done. You have to go get your people outside of the facility to help you prepare for that week. Like, you have to go get your trainer. You have to go get your gym stuff and other places that you work out and train outside of the facility when you're on your own private time. How do you watch film? When do you watch film? Where are you watching film? Who are you watching film with? All of these things have to be accounted for during a prep week of starting for your next week of football. So that's why I said 3 weeks for Joe Flacco. We knew Joe Flacco wasn't going to cut the mustard. We knew Joe Flacco wasn't a good football player because the last time we seen Joe Flacco was in Indiana at the coast. Joe Flacco wasn't a good football player. People keep saying Snacks. Why do you keep saying he's not a good football? Did you not see what I saw? You didn't see Joe Flacco playing for the Indianapolis Colts. That they benched their starter for Joe Flacco, and Joe Flacco was so bad that they benched Joe Flacco to put their sorry starter back in. That's how awful Joe Flacco was last season. From last season to now, what made the Browns think that Joe Flacco was going to be a good enough quarterback to carry them through 9-10 games and then start the rookies? Wasn't going to work. Wasn't going to happen. I told y'all, week 3 was about the end of Joe Flacco. And truly, week 3 was the end of Joe Flacco. They just gave him an extra week because they were unsure. It wasn't until New York benched Russell Wilson, that's when they were like, okay, it's safe. Let's do this. Joe Flacco is a great quarterback. Joe Flacco is also an old quarterback. And old and football don't mix. We've seen Joe Flacco play. The first 3 games, he was horrible. What makes you think that there would be any improvement going forward in week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 until your break? Wasn't going to happen. So yes, Joe Flacco should have been benched. Enter Dillon Gabriel, Little Dollar General. Now, we saw Dillon Gabriel play his 2 games in the preseason. We saw Dillon Gabriel in the first preseason game play not so well. We saw Dillon Gabriel throw a pick 6. We saw Dillon Gabriel fumble. We saw passes batted. Like I said, Dillon Gabriel is good. But Dillon Gabriel is only great in a 2-minute offense. If you go back and watch Sunday's game, Dillon Gabriel looked best in that 2-minute offense where he led the team down to the field for a field goal. Regular offense, not Dillon Gabriel's status when it comes to playing in this particular offense because it's not his style. He's not built for it. And he is not big enough. He doesn't have the athleticism to play, and he's left-handed, which changes everything that the wide receivers have to do to catch the ball. But here we are in week 5 of the season. Dillon Gabriel is starting. The question is, what do we do with Shedeur? Where does Shedeur fit into this quarterback system, into this quarterback room? What is your pecking order? Because the 2 veteran quarterbacks you had are now gone, which means all of the preparation during the preseason, doing OTAs, doing training camp, everything that they got, they're taking it to another team. They're giving them what you taught them or what you gave them the time to work on. When we were all saying there's really no need to start Joe Flacco, especially after you traded Kenny Pickett. Joe Flacco was simply null and void. The rookie should have been playing because we knew Joe Flacco wasn't going to last. There was no way. But here we are. You gave away all that experience, all that time needed for Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel to get better, to get more time with the first and second team offense, to work one-on-one with the receiver core, to get that timing together, to get in sync, with the offensive line, so the offensive line could know about how long you can sit in that pocket, about how long they need to protect you before they understand that you are going to move outside that pocket and take off or do something off schedule. All of that comes into play when you start working with the first team. Most people will call it timing. Most people will call it rhythm. And that's what was needed for Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders to get in sync with this offense. Kevin Stefanski runs a West Coast offense, which is a lot of dink and dunk passes, which you've seen from Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel the first 5 games. The offense is stagnant. They haven't scored over 17 points in a game. The only person to score over 17 points in a game and look good doing it was Shedeur Sanders in the preseason. Help me make it make sense. But here we are in the 5th week of the season, and the Cleveland Browns are still asking their local and team reporters to spew the same rhetoric that Shedeur Sanders is not ready. And I don't understand it. Here we are today, October the 8th, and you are telling me that Shedeur Sanders is still not ready. For us, for people that have watched Shedeur Sanders from high school till now, when we've seen him study, grow, play, we saw the well-off videos, we've seen the Reach the People videos, we've seen Coach Prime and Travis and Shedeur and all of his receivers, how they worked. But you keep trying to tell me that Shedeur Sanders is lazy, that Shedeur Sanders is not ready. It's kind of hard for people that are true fans of Shedeur Sanders to believe that. When we've seen his work ethic, when we've seen how truly hard he works, he prepares, he studies, he is there for every moment to be the best that he can be for that day. It is absolutely incredible. Hold on. I've been noticing the way blacks only want Shedeur to play, which hopefully never happens. He needs to be held accountable for his play style and lack of productivity. What you're not going to do, Joaquin, is do that. You understand? That's your last one. That will be your last one. Your first one and your last one. What we're not going to do is that. You're not going to disrespect people in this chat, and you damn sure not going to disrespect me. Because if you notice, it's a whole lot of white people out there that want him to play too. So we need to kill that narrative right now. Yes, his fan base is more black people than white people because he's a black man. That's just the natural order of things. But understand, don't do that no more. We understood? As long as we understood, we good. Because if that right there show up in my chat again, you ain't going to have to worry about it. I got you covered. Now, back to the lecture at hand. Perfection is perfected, so don't let them understand. Y'all don't know nothing about that right there. I'm just saying. Now, where were we? Because I lost my train of thought. But what they are trying to get us to understand, or trying to want us to believe, that Shedeur is not ready, when we've seen it. We've seen how he prepares. We've seen how he works. We've watched it from his teenage years until now. And what the Cleveland Browns and the Browns faithful who believes everything that is written or said about Shedeur, or when the Cleveland Browns send one of their reporters out there to keep saying that Shedeur is not ready. Is he not ready, or does Kevin Stefanski just don't want him to play? Aditi Kikalobo was on UCS yesterday. And just what I told y'all they were saying, she just said it.
Or will we see Shedeur at some point, or somebody else?
I think if he's healthy,
barring he's healthy,
right?
Will he start the rest of the year?
I think Shedeur still has quite a bit of growth to show. You may see Shedeur, but I don't know that that's because he's looking better or done more or beaten out Dylan Gabriel. Unless there's suddenly, instead of growth, there's maybe if Shedeur does that, then that would change the dynamic. But you might see him because Jimmy Haslam said in training camp that you need to get a look at these two quarterbacks, these two rookie quarterbacks. That might be part of it.
Now, Shedeur is going to have to grow. It's going to have to be quick. This man been playing football all his life. He's only not started one game in college. He showed better in preseason. We can throw that last game out the window because that was a booby trap. You can't convince me otherwise. OTA's training camp, his numbers were better there. But yet and still, because Dylan Gabriel is the third quarterback, he gets to go first. And we are cool with that. But what you can't keep doing is telling us that Shedeur Sanders is not ready when we seen it on the field. And you're going to say, yeah, did you see that third game, Snacks? Did you see the third game? Because we saw Shedeur get sacked 5 times. It was really only 3. He ran out of bounds on 2 of them, 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, and that counted as a sack. But you saw him get tackled 3 times. And that was for sure. We know who was out there with him, and we know what he was trying to do. But if we were being fair, y'all need to go watch that video I put up earlier this morning about how we don't trust Kevin Stefanski. If Kevin Stefanski was being fair, when Shedeur came out in that third game, in that third quarter, right after halftime, Shedeur Sanders would have came out with the same linemen and the same receivers as Dylan Gabriel had. It didn't matter. He didn't have to play the fourth quarter. You could have gave the fourth quarter to Tyler Huntley and the rest of those that didn't play. that needed some scratch time. But he didn't. He put those in there with Shedeur Sanders. And that's why we got the result that we got. People got to remember, that happened right after halftime. The Eagles didn't put their scrubs in until the fourth quarter. So, I'm sick of hearing that narrative. But, like I said, Kiki Aditi did it again on yesterday. She turned right back around, went on CBS, and
I can tell you, Kevin Stefanski loves Dillon Gabriel for all the reasons you just said. He is a very, very smart, heady player. He is in that film room. He studies exceptionally. You tell him one thing once, and he doesn't make a mistake twice. He is all the things personality-wise that Kevin Stefanski wants out of a quarterback. And just like you said, he's not playing street ball. He's not sitting there just trying to see what can open up downfield, what can I possibly create. He goes through his progressions extremely well and extremely efficiently. Now, Shedeur, he's got a great magnetism to who he is. He's got a lot of growing to do, and he has admitted that. He is working towards that. He is getting better, but what he ran at Colorado is not necessarily what Kevin Stefanski is looking to run right now. And so, heady player. Colorado is not necessarily what Kevin Stefanski is looking to run right now.
let me stop you right there. See, this is what I mean when people don't know what they talking about. What Shedeur ran in Colorado is exactly what Kevin Stefanski is running right now. Right now, damn near the exact playbook. Remember, after that first preseason game, Shedeur Sanders told y'all why it was so easy, because he got the cheat sheet. And it makes everything else easy. The reason he said he had the cheat sheet, because it's the same offense. It's different lingo. It's different abbreviations. It's longer calls, but it's the same plays. Kevin Stefanski's offense is derived from the same offense that Shedeur ran in Colorado. This is why knowing your person and knowing their history is vital. See, Dillon Gabriel in Oregon ran a version of the West Coast offense, but his is a much older version of what Kevin Stefanski runs. Dillon Gabriel ran the faster version of the West Off offense. He ran the hurry-up version. Everything they did was get back to the line, let's go. It was tempo. Let's move the ball. Run a play. Okay, get back to the line. Line up. Play comes in. Let's go. But see, Aditi don't know this. That's why she's making stupid statements on TV. Let's hear it again.
Getting better, but what he ran at Colorado is not necessarily what Kevin Stefanski is looking to run right now. And so there's certainly still a lot of growth that he needs to do, both in the playbook, on the field, and even off the field. We saw the miming in the locker room a week ago.
I'm so sick of them with that mime and stuff. It wasn't a mime, it was a mouth. He just mouthed the words that he wanted to say. He wanted to cuss y'all out, is what he wanted to do. But they will use that as an excuse to say he's not ready.
I don't think that this is a statement that he is one snap away from going in. This is Dillon Gabriel's team right now. He does not need to look over his shoulder. The Browns want to see progress out of him. And yes, there's more opportunity for Shedeur to continue to keep getting better as he has all year.
See, people like that report false narratives and say crazy things that send people like me over the edge. Because when you're talking about someone and you don't exactly know what to say, so you just start throwing things out to see what works, you don't get it. And I'll get the super chats and questions in a little bit. Y'all give me a minute. We'll get to some of them. I'll start some of y'all up and we'll run through all that. You know, it is what it is. But remember back early in training camp when we were getting things like this.
Your thoughts on Dillon Gabriel?
He's not good. He's not an NFL quarterback, not right now.
Jeez.
And the fact they keep running him out there for first team reps, and part of it I get because Kenny Pickett's banged up with a hamstring injury, so there's not a lot he can do. But this goes back. They have been putting him out there first with the 11-on-11 going back to the offseason program. They're cramming this guy down our throats, and it's not good. It's not a height thing. It's not personal. I mean, he's rolling out and he can't hit guys that are wide open. He is not all that great at times during the warm-up periods. He's pretty good during 7-on-7 when there's no offensive and defensive lines, but he's just not a good quarterback. And he's a third-round pick. And I talked extensively yesterday, as you mentioned, on my show with Nick Padone. The problem that I have right now is that the Browns are forcing me to look at a third-round pick who has no business being in contention to start a football game this year. They're forcing me to evaluate him like he is a first-round pick and like he is a starting quarterback in the NFL. And that's not fair to Dillon. You're putting that kid in a really, really bad spot. Dillon Gabriel should be a developmental player, just like you have, as an organization, made the decision to have Shedeur Sanders be a developmental player. But giving him first team reps on a consistent basis is ridiculous. He is not a starting quarterback. Not yet. Maybe someday he'll develop into Colt McCoy and be one of those guys that can bounce around the league and be a backup or whatever. But I mean, it's just god awful when he's on the field. It's not good. And, at times I feel like he brings the practice to a screeching halt when he's doing the 11-on-11 because the ball doesn't move.
Now, that was the narrative. OTAs. That's what we were talking about in OTAs. All of a sudden, season starts and...
What makes Gabriel a better quarterback right now than Sanders?
Well, it's just his ability to be able to handle that NFL offense. He played 6 years of college ball. He has an enormous amount of starting experience. I think he actually is the guy that set the record for playing the most games in college football because he did play those 6 seasons because of COVID. And so I think his just ability to go out there to be able to handle the enormous amount of things that you have to think about as an NFL quarterback, the tons of different defenses and looks and coverages, his ability to get rid of the football quickly, to move inside the pocket. Now, that's not saying he's a better long-term prospect or he has a higher ceiling, but right now he just has more capability of running the offense and at least setting up the other guys on that team than Shedeur Sanders does. And I think Shedeur's going to have a great NFL career, but we saw a lot of those issues that he had in college show up in that last preseason game against the Rams, where when things start breaking down or he's not feeling comfortable with the route combinations or maybe what he's seeing on defense, tends to drift in the pocket, tends to hang on to the football. And it's really hard to say, well, this guy's a better quarterback if he continues to just take sacks and drift in the pocket, because you never find out what the other guys are doing if he's getting sacked 25 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Now, see, this is the type of blasphemy that we've had to deal with. This is the type of mess that we've been dealing with since this season started. It ain't just been one, it's been player after player after player. It's been columnist after columnist after columnist. Some people think he got it. Some say the Browns say he ain't got it. What say you, Mary Kay Cabot?
Notice how different it is with all three guys, right? Joe has the big arm. Dylan Gabriel's kind of the efficiency guy, accuracy guy. And Shedeur Sanders, I mean, let's be honest, still figuring some things out, but he will have moments. I mean, again, today you can make the case that maybe two of the better throws, and the caveat here is always who is he going against, who is he with. Two of the better throws today were from Shedeur. I just think today, Ashley, I feel better about the quarterbacks than I have over the first 4 days.
Yeah.
Oh, Shedeur was actually good. Coming out of training camp, Shedeur was actually good. Better than Flacco, better than Gabriel, better than Pickett. Numbers don't lie, people. Numbers don't lie. People lie about the numbers, but the numbers don't lie. Shedeur Sanders was the most accurate quarterback in college football, but they will tell you that doesn't matter. And then they'll turn around and say, Dylan Gabriel played more games than anybody in college football. But wait a minute. He was also there for 6 years. So tell me something. Dylan Gabriel been trying to get in the NFL for 3 years. 3, since he was a junior in college. Adding an extra 3 years to his football career. Played more games than anybody else. Threw more touchdowns than anybody else. He wasn't graded higher than Shedeur Sanders going into the draft, but he was drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders going into the draft. Somehow, the Cleveland media has made it up in their mind that makes him better. Somehow, everybody else in the NFL world is saying that since Dylan Gabriel was drafted in the 3rd round, that makes him better than Shedeur Sanders. No, that just makes you a higher draft pick. But what did they think of you before they drafted you? We know why Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 5th round. There was extenuating circumstances around that. That wasn't graded off talent. That was graded off making people feel like they weren't shit when he walked into those meeting rooms. The man literally said it himself. An NFL coach that said Shedeur Sanders made people feel small. How, Sway? Because you was in there interviewing him. How he make you feel small? Because he was spitting facts? Because he was asking you questions that you, as an NFL coach, wasn't ready to answer? Because you weren't on your P's and Q's, and everything you shot at him, he was like, okay, that's cool, I can do that, and he was hitting you with them answers. And then he said, hold on. I got something for you. Tell me about this right here, this right here, this right here, this right here. And y'all were like, hold on, you're not supposed to know that stuff. But once again, you forgot how he was raised. You forgot who his father was. The man told you standing at the podium, if you are ready to change your NFL franchise, if you are not ready to change your culture, then don't draft me. That's what he said. Out of his own mouth. Like it was okay, and it was. But we do have some good fellas on the other side of the mic. And they want to know what the problem is.
I did not think about this until yesterday this way. Emmett Golden, ESPN Cleveland, and our teammate here at ESPN Radio on game night said, I feel now more than ever like Deshaun Watson actually may have a chance to play again for the Cleveland Browns. They have one less quarterback. Bailey Zappi is the practice squad veteran third-string guy. If these guys are not that good, hypothetically, or they don't feel comfortable going to Shedeur, is Watson now back on the table?
Well, I'm not going to dismiss the Deshaun Watson of it all. I do think he's in play, and I think that's more of a conversation to have in November and December than one that we have in October. But not to gloss over what this means for Shedeur, now he's the number 2 quarterback. He's one hit away from going in the game. Mm-hmm. And so when you ask the question, is he more likely to play, the obvious answer is yes. We were sitting here yesterday having a conversation around whether or not we'd ever see Shedeur this season based on what Dylan Gabriel showed against the Minnesota Vikings and Joe Flacco being the number 2 quarterback. But when I saw this news from the Browns' perspective yesterday, the first thing I thought was, why is Shedeur Sanders good enough to be the number 2 quarterback this week, but he wasn't good enough to be the number 2 quarterback last week? What was the football reason that you had him third string when you decided to elevate Dylan Gabriel and give him his first NFL start? To me, that's the part that I couldn't square. Because if you sold me on the bit about Joe Flacco being more equipped to go into the game without taking a lot of reps throughout the course of the week with the game plan, from a mental standpoint, that makes sense because Joe Flacco has 2 decades worth of NFL experience. If you got to tap him on the shoulder mid-game because things have gone off the rails, he would be better equipped to do that than Shedeur Sanders.
Sure.
But that logic goes out the window when you decide to trade Joe Flacco this week and elevate Shedeur to the number 2 quarterback. I just don't understand what Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry are thinking in terms of the rhyme and reason and why they're handling the quarterback situation this way. I mean, you got a better chance at getting a Trump tax return than figuring out what the Cleveland Browns are trying to do at the quarterback position. And so that's why I think this situation could be volatile for Kevin Stefanski. He's got to be careful in terms of how he handles this now, because there's a ton of pressure on him to make sure that he gets the most amount of information for Andrew Berry when it comes to what they need to do at the quarterback position long term.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, if Shedeur Sanders wasn't good enough and he wasn't ready last week, all of a sudden, remember that thing Aditi was talking about, that skyrocketed in that learning curve? All of a sudden it happened. Because now Shedeur Sanders, I present to you, Cleveland Browns fans, Shedeur Sanders, your QB2. All of a sudden, because if you know football, to be QB2, you have to be ready at any given time, on any given week. It could be after the first play. It could be after the third play. Hence, Aaron Rodgers 3 years ago. 3 plays in, Achilles snap, and he out for the season. And we got to play the backup. So to be number 2, you have to be ready. But you keep saying he ain't ready. If he ain't ready, then how he get to be number 2? Now, granted, that Kevin Stefanski would not answer that question today because he knows Kevin Stefanski is in a dilemma. Either he gonna put Shedeur at number 2 or he gonna put him at number 3. Put him at number 2, they gonna be all right with it, but it still ain't enough. Put him at number 3, and the fans just might riot, and you put your job in jeopardy. Because to put Shedeur Sanders at number 3, you have to sign Bailey Zappi to put him on the roster and elevate him above Shedeur Sanders and put Shedeur Sanders back on the practice squad and make him inactive for Sunday. You just might have a problem. What a tangle web we weave. And it's a sad affair that when the quarterback you drafted, the quarterback you wanted to be a bridge quarterback to get you through to the next season, for you to draft another quarterback, but your owner had a whole different agenda, which they blamed it on the GM. So your GM had an entirely different agenda and drafted Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round and threw a monkey wrench in your system. Shedeur Sanders is beloved in that locker room. They believe in him. The veteran players believe in him. And when you got 95 telling everybody he's the first man in, I see him with the head coach every morning. And I see him here when I leave and go home. Oh, things are about to change.
Shedeur Sanders, as a veteran, what's impressed you the most on how he's approached the game?
All the time he takes, showing up early. Coach's office is easily seen when you walk in the building, and almost every morning you see him in there, talking through plays, talking through schemes with coach, and making sure that he's ready for his moment when he gets called up. And I appreciate that level of maturity and attention to detail.
Oh, but he in the back of the class. He lazy. He ain't doing the work. When your star player, the captain of your football team, the true captain, 95, one of the most beloved players in all of football, stamp you. Dylan Gabriel, your time is limited. You have been given notice that you are not that boy. But not only does your star defensive player say, yeah, we see him in there. We know he about that work. Then your star cornerback does the same thing.
But I think both those guys are ready. Shedeur and Dylan, I think those are two guys that are capable of being the #1 quarterback, and I think he'll be ready once he come in. Like I say, Shedeur, he throws a nice ball and can make plays. So who's ever in there, I know is going to help us out.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. Not Denzel Ward. Not Denzel Ward stepping up to the mic. He said him and Dylan Gabriel, and then he firmly planted his flag over there on Shedeur and moved off Dillon Gabriel and spoke about him in the first person. They have bought in. See, but y'all remember back a while ago when G. Bush was trying to tell y'all, and I was trying to tell y'all, that the local Cleveland media has a problem with Shedeur. They have a problem with him being famous because they think he's famous because he's Deion Sanders' son, which is true, but which is also not true. He's famous because he's a good damn quarterback. He's famous because they learned how to use the media to boost their exposure. And nobody else had done what they've done in college football. You can't get mad because they was first. I was famous on YouTube for a long time because I was first. I was the first black man with a YouTube network. I was the first black man with over 4,000 YouTube partnerships. I was first. And you think the haters didn't come for me? Oh, yes, sir. All day. So much so I was getting death threats. I had to get the FBI involved. It was a lot. I was first. Y'all just not finding me on YouTube. But if you see that thing across the top, right up there, it says the Yauchnet, part of the Yauch Network. That Yauch channel been there since 2011. My channel been here since 2011. I used to have about 80,000 subscribers before I stopped making YouTube videos about 7 years ago. Longer than that, almost 10 years ago, 2014, 15. But I was first. So I understand sitting in that seat when you're doing things that nobody has ever done before, and the love you get and the hate that comes with it. But remember when G. Bush was telling y'all that this local media is dirty work. They are not nice, and they just trying to find stuff.
A lot of people that thought we was going to let y'all get that off. We wasn't going to let you get it off like that, man. We weren't going to do it. Because let me just tell you something. I was a little perturbed the last couple of days. Because I don't like how y'all try to put your thumbs on the scales. I didn't like it. Local media, it was nasty work. You guys try to put your thumb on the scale and weigh it down and try to be like, oh, yeah, actually, really, I got Dillon Gabriel winning this matchup. I actually have Dillon Gabriel. He was 100 for 100. And Dan Marino came out of the stands and told him that he was the greatest quarterback he's ever seen. Shut your mouth. You be lying. Shedeur Sanders not only won this quarterback competition on the field, he won the competition off the field and on the mic.
See, it ain't a game. We keep receipts. They started off with 5 quarterbacks. We are now currently down to 2. There has been an influx of people clamoring to jump on the Shedeur Sanders bus or bandwagon, both good and bad. Eric Dickerson told y'all what they tried to do. You can believe him or not. But when you have a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders that is as famous as Shedeur Sanders before he even touched the NFL locker room, the idea was to humble him. And people still, to this day, say that Shedeur Sanders needs to be humble. He needs to cut out all the antics. But Shedeur Sanders told y'all, wherever I go, the media will follow. He already knows that he brings the media with him. That wasn't no joke when he said that.
Bring cameras and eyes anywhere I go. That's not, it don't matter where I go. I know my change and I know the influence I have, on society and on culture. So wherever I go, it's definitely going to be an improvement than what it was before I got there.
See? But y'all think it's a game. It's not that he's brash or he's arrogant or he's confident. He's most definitely confident, but he's just also telling the truth. And that's the reason that he gets so much hate. Because when you step up to the mic and you put it in his face and then you turn the lights on and you ask him a question and he doesn't give you the PC answer. He doesn't give you the run-of-the-mill NFL quarterback answer. He answers it honestly. He answers the question as you were asked. But then people have a problem with that. They say you shouldn't talk so much. You shouldn't answer the question so boldly. You shouldn't give people 100% of what you want or what they need or what they ask you to give. People like Emmanuel Ocho, who has on several occasions said the wrong thing about Shedeur Sanders. Emmanuel Ocho said that if Shedeur Sanders wasn't black, he wouldn't be acting this way. If Shedeur Sanders wasn't black, he would do a lot of things differently. Emmanuel Ocho said Shedeur Sanders is a third string quarterback and he needs to act accordingly.
For Sanders making statements like this and a third string quarterback being in the news is why Shedeur Sanders isn't necessarily starting. It's not about talent. With Shedeur, it's never been about talent. Some people suggested it's about race. Others have suggested it's about culture and his boisterous personality. It's never been about talent. This isn't about talent. I do not want my third string quarterback in the news. Who's the Cowboys' third string quarterback? You Cowboys fan? You don't even know. That's my point. You don't know. I don't know the Eagles' third string quarterback. Y'all probably don't know your team's favorite third string quarterback. Who?
That's crazy, dog.
Exactly.
That's crazy, yo.
And yet here we are having a 20-minute passionate conversation about a third string quarterback. Because when push comes to shove, third string quarterback's supposed to do two things: get water and get clipboards. That's it.
Yeah. That just goes to show you, he's not a third string quarterback. Everybody keeps saying that. Everybody keeps answering that question. Everybody keeps saying, why are you putting cameras in the third string quarterback's face? Simple. I've said it a million times because you know, just like I know, that he is not a freaking fifth round or a third string quarterback. It's simple. Third string quarterbacks don't lead ESPN, First Take, Get Up, FS1 shows, all of the doggone YouTube channels. Third string quarterbacks don't do that. Jameis Winston is a very popular third string quarterback, but he is seldom in the news. But even ESPN, even Mike Greenberg of Get Up, they didn't ask y'all, find me one person that had Dylan Gabriel rated above Shedeur Sanders in the draft. Quit trying to tell me he's a third string quarterback.
Say this. If this offense is going under Kevin Stefanski,
no, not that.
I'm a believer in Shedeur. Again, I am not an analyst, so I'm not sitting here telling you that my expertise tells me he's going to be a good player. I'm saying there is not one draft analyst, not one, who said this guy can't play at all.
Yeah,
not one.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
The idea that all of a sudden we've decided he can't play, there's not one who had him rated behind Dylan Gabriel. Not one. I prepare for the draft. I start studying these guys the week after the college football championship game. I did nothing but look at quarterbacks and all the rest of the guys. There is not one person, go back and find me, one draft analyst who had Dylan Gabriel rated ahead of Shedeur Sanders. So I personally am confounded, and the things that people are saying that Dylan Gabriel does well, processing and all that stuff, are exactly the things people were telling me that Shedeur did well.
Find me one. Find me one that had Lil Dylan rated above Shedeur Sanders. You heard the man. You heard him. He can't find one. Not one NFL analyst, not one NFL draft analyst that had Dylan Gabriel rated above Shedeur Sanders. But all of a sudden, he a 5th round draft pick. He a third string quarterback. And you keep asking us why y'all keep putting microphones in front of his face. Did you see the numbers when you put a microphone in front of his face? That's why they do. Because y'all know just like we know, but you're too big of punk asses to say it. The NFL was wrong. And they did him wrong. And he should be starting, just like all these people on ESPN keep telling you. The same people that played the same game that he's playing keep telling you that he is better than Dylan Gabriel and he should be starting. But y'all believe in Kevin Stefanski and the freaking Browns?
Shedeur Sanders will be the starting quarterback for the Browns entering the season. I think that they want to know what they have in either Shedeur or Gabriel before the season is over, because there's a chance that they'll be at the top of a good quarterback draft again next year. So I think they'll move quickly to getting those guys on the field to see what type of players they will be.
Oh yeah? That's what we're moving toward, Dominique Foxworth. We got to get and figure out what we got. All I'm saying is, I'm telling you what they telling us, but everybody else keeps telling me that he's not ready. We should believe Kevin Stefanski, because Kevin Stefanski watch him in practice every day. Kevin Stefanski also had him throwing the trash cans. The most accurate quarterback in college football, and you want to tell me Kevin Stefanski know what the hell he's talking about? No. No. Kevin Stefanski drafted Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders, and we supposed to trust Kevin Stefanski's word? We saw it. You seen it. But Emmanuel Ocho don't think so.
There's no issue with Shedeur Sanders thinking this. There's a gigantic issue with Shedeur Sanders right now saying this. Because Shedeur Sanders, when you say this, what could be implied is what Shady McCoy just said, which is you are better than the starter. So now it could be implied that you're taking a shot at the starting quarterback. Remember what happened during the preseason game when Dylan Gabriel said, I'm about execution, other people are about entertainment. And everybody was like, oh, is that about Shedeur? Shedeur, you doing the same thing. Being a starting quarterback isn't just about talent. Of course, I believe that Shedeur Sanders is more talented than some starters in the National Football League. But you can't say it. You feel me? Like, you can't say it. You don't want to cause any other drama in the locker room, and you don't want to make it seem like you're trying to usurp the starting quarterback. Y'all just won a game. Y'all just beat a top 2, top 3 team in the NFC. And now you in the locker room saying, I'm better than other quarterbacks in the league. I don't even think Shedeur's wrong. I just don't know that you have to say it.
Yeah, you got to say it. He has to say it because they keep saying he ain't ready. They keep saying he's not preparing. They keep saying that he is not there yet. So yes, he has to say it. Because if I don't nobody else, if everybody else keeps spitting out the same narrative that you're not ready, people starting to believe it. It's just like Donald Trump been telling the same lie for 10 years. And people still believe it. Because if you tell the same lie over and over and over and over again, people eventually think it's the truth. That is the reason why we keep telling y'all it is not true. But you don't believe me? Dan Orlowski.
This. If this offense is going under Kevin Stefanski, at least rumors to what it was a couple years ago, he's perfect for it. Because he's perfect for the under center, play action, control the line of scrimmage, see the defense, get from 1 to 2 to 3 quickly, or 1 to 2 to 3, he's got to do it more quickly. But he's custom made for that. But the way that he thinks and the way that he can see something on the board, take it to a walkthrough, and then bring it to a practice, that's how you win. He has to force that organization to play him because he's so impressive. And it will start this week, and then it will start for them to say, let's give him reps versus our #1 defense in training camp and see how he does.
Everybody can't be wrong, man. See, the Cleveland media keeps telling you that the Cleveland Browns keep telling them that he's not ready. And see, now they saying he's not ready, but we moving him to #2 because we are getting him ready. That's the new narrative. We getting him ready. We gonna get him there. So when he finally touches the field, oh my, y'all don't hear me. They say when he finally touches the field and then he gets out there and he shows out, guess who gonna have their hands up like we did this? That was all us. We kept telling y'all he wasn't ready. See what we did? Look at this. Look at Shedeur. Look what we did. When you ain't developed a quarterback in Cleveland Brown football history, not since '99, since the history, and you think we supposed to believe you? Y'all don't see this. I'm trying to give y'all the business. Just like I told y'all that Joe Flacco trade was coming, I keep telling you what's happening. Your boy no ball. You better listen. 92.3 The Fan listening, but they think like I'm thinking.
Here's the verbiage in the Ian Rappaport piece. Sources say Sanders had a discussion with team officials that his approach to the media session was a message that got lost in translation. So basically, they said, don't say a word about it. And he's like, I don't know how to do that. I'm going to pantomime talking. How can we not? That's funny. That is very, very funny.
It's funny. It's also funny that they got Rappaport to even report on that.
Yes.
That's the funnier side of things.
Well, and so every part about this was very much there was no way this wasn't leaked from the Browns.
Yeah.
Like every part that you read about this screamed. It wasn't an agent. It wasn't, Shedeur himself. It wasn't Dion. It was clear that this was made from the Browns. And I do think that's what's interesting about this is because I think any time the Browns leak any report about Shedeur, it ends up backfiring, even if it's a well-intentioned one like this, which is to tell Shedeur fans, hey, we're going to play your guy at some point this year. Just be patient.
Well, and I'm sure a lot of people think like myself. It's like, yeah, Jimmy Haslam already told us he was going to play this year. Like if you just listen to Jimmy Haslam, we'd have both quarterbacks be playing. I know in the past couple weeks, though, I became a little bit more hesitant to the idea that he actually would see the field because there just became a part of me that wondered if they were just going to. I honestly didn't know that they move away from Flacco as early as they did, even though I kept telling everyone after 4 weeks is when they had to actually figure that out. I just didn't know that they'd actually do it. It's what I would do. I was surprised they actually did it. But with this, the part that got me was in this report. Rap Sheet talks about how his development is happening every day, and while we had a long way to go upon arriving as a 5th-round draft pick from Colorado, Sanders has worked and he's learned. They're trying to rewrite that initial narrative that was out there that basically Shedeur is wasting everyone's time. Mm-hmm. And the only part that gets me a little angry is that you took a quarterback in the 5th round. You're going to tell everyone that he's just a 5th-round quarterback, and you're going to then try to get all the credit for how he looks once he plays. That's the part that bothers me the most. It's a sleight of hand that I knew was coming from a million miles away, and it's going to paint them to be the savior of this quarterback that didn't actually need saving.
Exactamundo. That's the narrative they trying to write. They trying to make it seem like they're doing it for him. He wasn't ready when he got here. He still ain't ready now. But when they put him out there and he show out, the first thing they're going to do is raise their hand and say, look what we did. That was us. We did that. We trained him. We got him together. They're going to be lying because he's been like that. We seen it. We know he together right now. Dylan Gabriel out there throwing 8-yard passes. Ball ain't crossed 15 yards. Who put that we mess with Trump? No, we don't mess with Trump over here, homeboy. So if you mad, just be mad. We don't do that over here. You want to mess with him, you gonna have to go over there with that. That ain't us. But they want to try to own that greatness when he turned out to be great. They like I told you, they trying to sell that narrative that we turning him around. We are making him 10 times better than what he was when he got here. I wouldn't lie to you. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. They keep trying to tell you. Just like Donald Trump keep trying to tell you the other countries are paying for them terrorists, which is a lie. That's why your prices keep going up. They keep trying to make it out to seem like they're the reason that he's going to be better. But he told them after that first game, he's comfortable being uncomfortable. He told y'all a long time ago. He ain't new to this. He true to this.
Well, I say I'm comfortable being uncomfortable, so that's what it is. I got pockets of finding my rhythm, and I got to get into that quicker, regardless of anything. But overall, I feel like me out there, and I couldn't do it, of course, without the time. I couldn't do it without the play calling. I couldn't do it without anything. So I'm just thankful to even be able to have, the joy of just being on the field overall, then carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. So that's 2 badges under my belt already. That I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. So it's just the small details that of course we practice on and we talk about, and I'll say.
Hold on, let's back that up.
Operated the huddle really, really good. already, that be able to have, the joy of just being on the field overall, then carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. So that's 2 badges under my belt already.
Yeah.
That I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. So it's just the small details that of course we practice on and we talk about. And I'll say, of course, towards the end, I'll say we got a little sloppy and we overall gonna finish it up, and that's gonna be a point of emphasis going into this next week. But I was just thankful just to share that moment with everybody.
Right. He told y'all the moment is never too big. He's always ready for that moment. Sabrina Campbell, Shakira is in the building. What's up, ladies? He told y'all the moment ain't too big. He been prepared for this. He been ready for this. He been doing this. He was built for this. He comfortable being uncomfortable. This ain't just started. And that's the NFL's biggest problem. Because he didn't just get started being uncomfortable. He been uncomfortable for a while. His daddy put him in them places for him to be uncomfortable. And get used to it, son. Because this is your life. And he did that. And everywhere you put him, he has shined. But like I've been telling y'all, this ain't new. And we've been knew it's been the setup from the beginning. We've been said it, but we ain't the only ones that said it.
Browns ever wanted Shedeur to actually be close to winning this competition.
No, I agree with that.
He's going to have to look amazing. Not just good, not just okay, completed half of his passes, da-da-da. He's going to have to really go out and win this thing. And so I don't even know if that's possible because...
No, I would lean no.
Well, the Panthers are playing their starters.
Yeah. I would lean there's nothing he can do except to hope Joe Flacco gets hurt.
I feel like this has been like loaded dice against Shedeur.
Definitely.
For what reason, I have no idea. You selected him. So why, why not give him a real shot with the ones and stuff? I don't understand.
Generally, 5th-round picks are not supposed to start week 1. Most, even first-round picks. Jackson Dart apparently looks great in Giants camp, and no one thinks he has a chance to get the job. So why would we think that Shedeur deserves a normal shot?
Because when he got to Cleveland, this is not a normal quarterback situation.
Oh, real? It's not. You sure, Maggie? Maggie Gray, you sure this is not a normal quarterback situation? Really? That's what they telling you. That this is not a normal quarterback situation. That's crazy. Can you imagine? Y'all really think that? Can you imagine that this is not a normal quarterback situation in Cleveland? Hell, there hasn't been a normal quarterback situation in Cleveland at all. Because Cleveland is a mess. But this is a mess that Cleveland can't handle. This is a mess that Cleveland knows what not to do. They don't know what to do with it. But once again, I just want to ask Maggie Gray.
That Shedeur Sanders is going to be starting the preseason game tomorrow. Now, what's weird is that Shedeur didn't get any first-team reps yesterday in this joint practice. Yeah. I don't think the Browns ever wanted Shedeur to be seeing the field this quickly. You can just tell by how they run practices. He does not get first-team reps with the 11-on-11 drills or the 7-on-7 drills. It's just not happening. Yep. So he has to start the game. It's not because he's getting a promotion. Now, what he does with it will be interesting, but if you're not going to give him any reps with the first team when you're, in theory, prepping him to start the first preseason game, I think the Browns are completely not serious about getting Shedeur any meaningful reps, and in some ways, I think they're setting him up to fail.
I think Shedeur is going to play really well. I think he goes out there on Friday, and I think he puts on
a mini show. Maybe not a whole show, but a mini show. And I think this creates a massive conundrum for the Browns and the organization about what happens next. Because if he goes out there and plays good, I don't think he has to even play great. If he plays good, there's going to be a large contingent of Browns fans that are going to be like, give this guy an opportunity.
Y'all just tell me, because I'm just giving y'all all these facts, all the things that say Shedeur Sanders should not be QB3, or you should not be questioning whether Shedeur Sanders is ready, because there is a plethora of people out there that play this game, that watch this game, that coach this game, that talk this game, saying that he ready. He should be playing right now. But I told you, go watch my video. See, if y'all ain't watching my videos, y'all don't understand what I be preaching. I keep telling y'all, Kevin Stefanski got Shedeur tucked over in that corner. Remember, lifesavers used to come in a roll about this size, about 10 of them in there, whole different colors, red, yellow, green, orange, purple, But now, lifesavers and job savers are 6'2", 215 pounds, quarterback from Dallas, Texas. Because Kevin Stefanski is holding on to Shedeur Sanders for dear life. Because he know with Dillon Gabriel, it's going to get bad and it's going to go left. And what do we have to save the day? Going to be his little Mighty Mouse. He's going to pop him out there. That's when Shedeur Sanders is going to show up. And because he know when he throw him out there, Shedeur Sanders is going to show out because he got something to prove. And he want to tell all y'all to shut the hell up. Y'all didn't know what y'all was talking about. I've been told you I could do this. But it's going to get bad quicker than Kevin Stefanski thinks. It's going to get real bad. But there's a lot of people that don't even want Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland at all, period. Just get him out of there. Just get him out of there because Cleveland is not helping. And the video I put out this morning about how can we trust Kevin Stefanski and his team to do the right thing by Shedeur when they have constantly shown us that they will do everything to keep Shedeur from being the front runner, from being up front, from being the man, until we need him to save us.
Last thing you want is for Shedeur Sanders to have to take the field in the psychological state that he's in right now. It is required for a quarterback to have the full faith and confidence of a whole organization in order for him to be successful. It doesn't exist in Cleveland. It's a setup that could impact his career for the rest of it if he's forced into action. I need Dillon Gabriel to play well. I need the Cleveland Browns to allow Shedeur out of there and for him to get a fresh start somewhere where from the very top of the organization all the way through the coaching staff, they believe in him. They don't in Cleveland for whatever reason. And if he's forced into action, it could be a death blow to his career. So I'm rooting for Dillon Gabriel for the purpose of saving Shedeur Sanders' career and perhaps allowing him to get somewhere where he can have some success. It's the one position in football and perhaps the one position in sports where in order to have any hope of being successful, the owner, the general manager, the coach, and the guys in that huddle have to have full faith and confidence in you. Without that, you have no chance. With it, you have a shot. It's no guarantee, but without it, I can guarantee you have no chance.
And that's CJ. That's a former Colorado quarterback. I think he know what the hell he's talking about. You need everybody in that order to have your back in order for you to succeed. And somewhere in that pecking order, and we think it's right above Shedeur Sanders, because right above him is the head coach. And that is where we have a problem. He doesn't believe in you because you're not his guy. You're not his pick. And if you succeed over the guy that he picked, he looks like an idiot. Well, not really, but he looks like an idiot the way he sees it, because he knows he didn't want you there, even though you will still be considered one of his guys because you were in that draft class. People not understanding. But the Cleveland media keeps telling y'all that Shedeur is not ready. Why do they keep saying that? Why does every week something else comes out that, they don't think he's ready? They just don't think he's there yet. He missing that one little something. They don't never tell you what it is, but he missing that one little something, just a little peek. We have no idea. But they say that so they can get this.
Say he's capable of playing better than that, which is basically saying I'm good enough to be a starting quarterback, which is basically how you have to think no matter what. Right? It is the mentality you have to be able to get out there and face a bunch of gigantic dudes who want to hurt you and take the ball from you. It's got to be part of the mentality. But Shedeur, you got to stop talking yourself out of maybe the best gig in sports. Being a backup quarterback, a lot of it, I saw Holly Anderson, somebody who I really love and adore, point this out last night. Mostly vibes. A lot of it's vibes based. A lot of it's based on being a good hang with your quarterback. And then you can get money to basically just chill and back up a reliable guy. Like, it would only behoove you as a guy who is not currently a starting quarterback to be a good hang, to be a good part of the team, to be like a buddy or like a support, just to be as helpful as possible personality-wise. You're not going to will yourself into the position, so maybe it would behoove you to at least consider, when giving quotes, not to go like every quarterback that starts kind of sucks right now, because those might be the guy that you're trying to buddy up to in order to put yourself in a position so that if something were to happen, you step in and you're the quarterback now. Like, I just tighten it up, I feel. I'm sure people will have stronger opinions and less charitable reads on that quote. But to me, it's just like, tighten it up, buddy. You've got an opportunity here to be paid to do nothing at a really cool position. Might as well take that gig. I know you want to start. I get it. You got that dog in you.
See what I'm saying? You get that. You want to be a good hang. You want to be that vibe. No, I want to be that boy. Nobody want to be that vibe. Nobody want to be no good hang. That's for old people. When they just want to hang around and keep a job. That's what's his name up there in New York? He a good vibe. But what we doing? Why are we on this action? This is not what it should be. Why are we even on this type of activity? I don't understand it. Now, hopefully we got Shedeur moving up on the depth chart. We don't know that yet because Kevin Stefanski is yet to answer that question. But meanwhile, if y'all wasn't paying attention, if you wasn't watching my videos, I told y'all Mary Kay messy. Super messy. Trying to keep up those bad narratives and keep a fight going on. So meanwhile, while the team was out in London preparing for Sunday's game, Dylan Gabriel was preparing for his first NFL start. Mary Kay was asking Dylan Gabriel stuff like this.
We can only control what we can control, but yeah, I don't want to speak for anyone in particular, and you talk it, and
this woman said, I asked the Browns' Dylan Gabriel about Shedeur Sanders' pantomime interview on the day Gabriel was named starter. He said, for me, we're a team. We do this as a unit. Why on the day before they play a game, you asking about some stuff that happened earlier in the week? You 7,000 miles across an ocean. But the local Cleveland media still trying to kick up them rocks. Still trying to be messy. Still trying to keep the drama going. But why we doing this? But yet and still, he ain't ready. He got a little bit more to go. He ain't learned everything. I think the playbook too thick. Anything to keep him off the field. But every day, you got former NFL players questioning the Cleveland Browns, wondering, what the hell are y'all doing?
What's your thoughts, and what does this mean for Shedeur Sanders now as he is elevated on the depth chart?
Yeah. Well, the first thing it means, he one play away. One bad game away, one decision away from getting into actual NFL regular season game where it means something. And then two, what it says to me is that this was all semantics with Joe Flacco being the second string quarterback. Because if you have Shedeur Sanders on the third string, and this is something that came to my mind, fellas, if you had him as your third string quarterback, why wouldn't he be up for a trade to go to the Cleveland Browns, to try to the Cincinnati Bengals, to try to get to that quarterback spot and try to become a second string guy? Here is my issue with how Cleveland has played this. And the one issue that I have is Cleveland played this like the media. They didn't play this like a real football team. Shedeur Sanders, like you alluded to, S.A., should have been the second string quarterback once Joe Flacco was removed from the starting job. And let me say this as well. Dylan Gabriel looked good. Dylan Gabriel was really solid against the Minnesota Vikings. And now you have an opportunity to go forward with him based off of the first week of him playing to see if he's the guy. But Shedeur Sanders should have been in that position. It goes back to what I talked about in the preseason. It goes back to what I talked about early in the regular season. He should have been in getting reps and preparing like the guy that's going to have to come into the game if something goes awry in the quarterback room, in the quarterback situation. So I think this is great, obviously, for Shedeur to be the number 2 guy, because like I said, he's one play away. But this whole thing about moving Joe Flacco after you removed him as a starter to number 2 and keeping Shedeur at number 3, and now Joe Flacco is traded, you promote him to number 2, should have been there all along. Should have had this opportunity to be preparing like he was going to play in games. And for anybody that doesn't know football, you prepare as the number 2 guy to play. You prepare because, like I said, you're one play away. That your week goes as preparation. You have to be in the mindset that I'm gonna have to go in the game and play. I'm happy for him. I just hate that we had to go through the semantics to get here.
But everybody keeps saying, we getting him ready. How? And he the third string quarterback. The man just told you third string quarterback don't get no reps during the week. Everything third string gotta do, they gotta do it on their own. What in the meeting room, them your reps. Be a third string quarterback, you gotta do everything on your own. You work yourself out. You do your own plays. You do your own walkthroughs. So tell me, how are you preparing him? How are you getting him ready? But they keep saying he almost there. Ooh, he ain't ready yet. We working on it. We got a plan. You ain't had a plan since Shedeur Sanders walked in that doggone building. Your plan was to hide Shedeur Sanders until you needed him to save your job. Because Kevin Stefanski already know if Shedeur Sanders don't touch that field this season,
you about to lose your job.
That's all I'm trying to say. If Shedeur Sanders don't touch that field this season, it's going down. Now, everybody talking about, well, we still got Deshaun Watson. Nobody gives shit about Deshaun Watson. Why we even talking about Deshaun Watson? How Deshaun Watson even enter the chat? How he get on everybody's radar? Stupid. Everybody is always, and it's always been the local Cleveland media. They always trying to find a way to go away from Shedeur. Because you know, they could put Deshaun Watson back at 2 if he gets signed up and ready to go. If they activate him. They're going to throw Deshaun Watson ass on injury reserve so quick, they're going to give him that money and say, stay out of our business. But he ain't ready yet. But he can't get ready until he get the reps.
This a long time. I trust my instincts. I don't know if Sanders can play or not, but I want to see. I think if you give him, here's what this is about. This is about practice time for Shedeur. And it's the right move. It's a smart move. Andrew, I'm going to give you credit. I am. This is also about getting Shedeur practice reps. I hope Shedeur understands he needs to take advantage now of these practice reps. And Chris, like we found out last week, I'm guessing they're going to give him a few reps with the number ones.
They better.
The way they gave Dylan Gabriel reps with the number ones, because you are one turned ankle away now from playing.
Exactly. It don't take but one play. It don't take but Dylan Gabriel getting slammed on his head by TJ Watt on a Sunday morning, coming around that corner at about 22 miles per hour, and he ain't gonna see him because he always on the right side, and that's Dylan Gabriel blind side, and it's gonna hurt because he tiny, and that's a grown man, and he get paid to hit people and hurt people on purpose. So everybody's ready to see Shedeur Sanders play. Not just us. Not just regular people. Everybody happy for Shedeur Sanders. But we want more because we know where he should be at. We've seen it. And you keep trying to tell me it ain't there. You're wrong. But we ain't the only people that happy.
Lose Flacco, so now Shedeur is number 2. I'm sure, just as somebody who has had a interesting relationship with media coverage, and you're very honest about it. You see how he's so young. He's now number 2 on the depth chart. Do you want to see him start? Like, what do you make of this entire experience?
Well, I just want to see. I'm glad he's in the league, developing, getting reps every day with the team. Just practicing every day. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want from any rookie. And when he gets his number called, and that's pro sports. Your number will get called. You'll get opportunity to play. Once that happens, he'll be ready. Until then, just keep being a pro every day. That's what I see from him. And the media and the circus around him, that is what it is because of his last name and how he came into the league and just who he is. But he seemed to be navigating that pretty well. He seemed to be getting better. People, he moved up to second in the depth chart, so that means something. So he's progressing. So that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. We doing the doggone thing. We just slowly but surely moving up. And they asked Shedeur about that stupid ass thing that Joe Flacco was moving, going to Cincinnati. They ran down Shedeur at a freaking car lot, at a car dealership, and put a camera and a microphone in his face. Now, Fox 8 had the exclusive interview. But damn, can't you catch me outside the facility in practice clothes or something? You gotta catch me at the dealership, dog. You gotta catch me at the dealership. Really? I can't get a little time to myself. I'm just out here perusing the car lots. I might just get me something. I like them sexy. I'm trying to get something. But here you go with a camera and a microphone. What do you think about Joe Flacco being traded?
About his thoughts on the Joe Flacco trade in an exclusive interview you will only see right here on Fox 8 News.
What did you think about the news today about Joe Flacco getting traded to Cincinnati?
Oh, Joe Flacco getting traded, he was definitely somebody I leaned on for wisdom, and I feel like he helped me a lot. He helped me a lot while my time being here in Cleveland and his time being here in Cleveland. So now, everybody has their own destinies and have their own plans they have in life. So I'm just happy for him.
Have you talked to him yet?
Yeah, I seen him in the facility. I seen him.
Before or after the news?
Yeah, after for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he told me, I'm like, dang, that happened quick. Like, that was crazy.
What is one thing that Joe maybe has taught you or has instilled in you in your few months together here?
He's definitely a person that adjusts to any situation he's in. He's an old man, so it's funny though. So I always bring the youngness out of him, and he always smiles, and just funny things I do overall because he understands where I'm at right now.
He always said during training camp you would always crack jokes in the quarterback meeting rooms and that you always found a way to make him smile. Is that something you're going to miss about seeing him around there?
Nah, for sure. Seeing the old man smile, for sure. But I think that's my impact. That's what I try to do everywhere I am. I always try to bring a different energy and a different level of comfortability within anybody I'm around. I always want to make sure my impact, is felt, and I always have positive energy. That's why I never understand the negative stuff about me, because, if anybody met me, I'm a great guy.
Shedeur told me he first found out about the trade while in a team meeting today for a game planning meeting for this weekend's game against Pittsburgh. Joe was also there. And when I asked Shedeur if he's been named Dillon Gabriel's backup, he said he didn't know, but insisted to me that he's, quote, ready. I'm always ready, end quote.
Exactly. If you stay ready, you ain't never got to get ready. And see, those are the things that they don't want him to say. But you can't stop it when you just somewhere out in public and a whole news crew show up and say, hey, let me ask you something, man. What you think about Joe? Talk to me. What you think about Joe? What is he? Tell me. You can't do that. And they keep asking the question, why y'all keep talking to a third string quarterback? Well, talk to your media team, because they keep letting them go back there to his locker to bother him. Why they didn't stop at Joe Flacco locker? Why they ain't stop at Dillon Gabriel's locker? Why I gotta be Shedeur Sanders? But see, but then they want to say, hey man, don't say nothing to the media. No, they're asking me questions, I'm gonna answer it. Because I ain't built like that. I don't give no PC answers. You ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you exactly what's going on. You should be expected. My father's the same way. And you said everything I do like him. So what you expect from me to be different? Oh, it's okay. See, but we've been having this fight about Shedeur Sanders since he's been drafted. Everybody's had a difference of opinion. Some people stand on it. Some people just whisper it. And some people turn red as hell in the face, telling you exactly how they feel about Shedeur Sanders.
All part of the experience, and it's why he didn't get picked until where he got picked. He has nobody but him and his team to blame for that reality.
Okay.
That is a reality. And the kid, I love the story of the kid. I do. But at some point, we have to recognize the world's not out to get Shedeur Sanders. He made his bed. He made his bed. Him and his team made his bed. And now he's on the Browns, one of the worst teams in football. And he's not going to get on the field anytime soon. What is he on the depth chart? Third?
He's third.
Is the only number 3 quarterback on any team in the league to have microphones and cameras in his face after a blowout loss. Like, this is only happening here.
There was a report.
This is only happening here. It wouldn't be happening anywhere else.
Find me a report.
Of course it's Cleveland, and of course it's the Browns.
Okay.
Where the third-string quarterback is conducting a press conference after a game that he only was on camera like one time during the game.
Well,
by the way, they're carving out practice time now for Shedeur Sanders to get some work in at the end of practice. So instead of actually getting ready for the Ravens, who beat your ass in week 2 and has everybody wanting to fire the coach and the GM, we're sitting. Is that part of practice or is it tacked on?
How many coaches
practice
do we have? They can't
ends.
work with the guy.
Now we're going to do another segment. Why don't we get ready for the Ravens? Can we get ready for the Ravens game?
They got ready for the Ravens.
Yeah, did they? How'd that work out
They're
for them,
not
Ken?
good. They're
How'd
not
that work
good.
out? Let's
They're
carve
not
out some
good.
more time for
They're
third-string
not
quarterback.
good.
Where's Stu Huntley? Where's Blake
Because they ain't
Zappi?
good.
Do you want to get those guys in?
You couldn't have beat the Ravens.
Oh, it's
Does it
Bailey
really
Zappi.
hurt?
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. You're not going to devolve this into me having to yell over you.
Let's
here.
get more.
That ain't going to work.
Let's get more practice time, and let's have practice go 10 hours to get all the quarterbacks the reps they need to get ready for the season.
You're the guy who told me that they didn't have any talent
here?
And they don't have any talent.
What is the plan for the Cleveland Browns
made the
here?
Decision on that one.
Because that is embarrassing. Do we want to have the 5th-string quarterback get press conference after another blowout loss?
2-15 this year, is it really going to matter that they spent extra time with Shedeur Sanders at the end of practice?
Totally normal. Guys,
no,
everything's
it's not
fine.
going to matter.
Everything's totally normal and fine here. Third-string quarterback does a press conference after a game.
If there's a report about Easton Stick from Adam Schefter, I don't even know where Easton is. He's still with the Chargers.
Get some cameras in front of him.
If there's a report about Easton Stick from Adam Schefter before a game, you're going to have some cameras around his locker at the end of the game.
Like I said, what has Shedeur Sanders done? Nothing but his job. And all the time, there is a fight about Shedeur Sanders doing his job. What are we doing? That's the same thing they asked on 9-3 The Fan. What are we doing?
I think that this now clears the way for Shedeur to be the backup, and that is more interesting. That is substantially more interesting.
But now even that becomes debatable for a lot of people for some reason, as if Shedeur shouldn't. Like, geez, if that rap sheet report, why are people taking that as if that is gospel in so many ways? Now all of a sudden, because the rap sheet report came out over the last weekend that they wanted to have a clear runway for Shedeur when he does start, if he does start at all, and they didn't want to just throw him into a game. That's supposed to be gospel. So now that because of that report, Bailey Zappi has to be the backup quarterback. Like what?
Wait, is that being reported out there, or is that how people are?
That's
twisting?
How people are twisting it. They're twisting it with the idea that then Bailey Zappi has to be the backup quarterback based off of the rap sheet report. And it's like, how did we get here? Shedeur's the obvious backup now.
It's so funny because I am Switzerland. You're part of the Shahive. I have no ties to Shedeur other than I was happy you got him with a 5th-round pick because that felt like incredible value. And if given a choice between starting Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, I would have already been starting Shedeur Sanders. But again, that's like you can choose between this legitimate NFL quarterback and a legitimate NFL backup, right? If they go anywhere at the backup spot other than Shedeur, what are we doing? Like you've already told the locker room. You've already told them, hey, guys, love ya, believe in ya, but we really got to figure out what we have with these kids. Like, you've already told them that Bailey Zappi serves no purpose as a backup in the NFL other than he's alive and his name is Bailey Zappi and he's played before.
All I'm gonna say. We ain't gotta say no more. Points been made 100 times. Cleveland Browns don't know what the hell they doing. They don't know how to handle this. They want to say it's a media circus. When it's their media people. It's the people that they bring in that's causing the circus. Because nobody wants to talk to your other quarterbacks. Because they know, like we know, they are not the guy. We can't even see him. He missing. When was the last time you seen somebody walk over to Dylan Gabriel's locker? Since the season started. And we're going into week 6. Dylan Gabriel got an interview Sunday because he had to take the podium after the game was over with. Other than that, guess who else got an interview Sunday after the game was over with? And it ain't his fault. But y'all want to be like, he need to chill out. But they keep trying to tell us that he ain't ready. He is not that boy. And we keep telling you was a lie. Oh, yeah, we ain't got no super chat, so we good on that. I am getting ready to get out of here. I got to get ready for football practice. Ooh, boy, it starts in about 45 minutes. I got to go put all this stuff in my truck and get ready to train these young fellas up. You know what I'm saying? Get my peoples together. We still undefeated. We ain't lost a game this season. We putting it on their head. But it is what it is. I'm going to get out of here, man. I got to go. I know we hanging out. We usually talk when I'm done talking. And I usually read through y'all comments and see how many fights started in the chat. You know. But today we not going to do that. I got to go. I got to get these things together. So I'm going to holler at y'all. I appreciate all y'all for coming out. Do not forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you ain't subscribed to my channel, you crazy. You missing out on some goodness. We got some Colorado stuff we got to do today and tomorrow. We'll get them done. And, you know, Cleveland stuff going to stay on deck. I need to start upping this Dallas stuff too because Dak turning it up. So I need to get on my Cowboys-ish. It is what it is. I know there's some Cowboy haters in here, but I don't care. You can hate on my Cowboys all you want to. They still my Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, man. I appreciate all y'all for hanging out with us. We've been up for 2 hours. But that's normal for us. Y'all know how we get down. But anyway, man, I'm going to holler at y'all. Appreciate y'all. We ain't got no super chat, so go sign up for the member section. I'm going to holler at y'all. I'm out of here. Appreciate y'all. Peace.